What's going on, peeps? We're back at another adventure, man. It's Adventure Day. Love these days. It's 2022, so you know what that means. A whole slew of new movies are coming out. But more than that, we're hitting anniversary dates. And we got a lot of great movies that are turning 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever have you. So in today's adventure, I want to do my top 10 favorite movies that are turning 10, that are turning 20, that are turning 30, and are turning 40. Not going any deeper than that, mostly because once you get to 50 years, I haven't seen 10 movies. So 40 years is as far back as we can go, where I've seen more than 10 movies. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to have some fun. We're going to dive in. We're going to see some good movies. We're going to start with 10 years. So that's 2012. These are all the movies, my top 10 favorite movies that came out in 2012. If you saw my last video ranking the highest grossing movies, you're probably not gonna like number one in my top 10 also for this year. But you know, I like what I like, so fuck you if you don't like it. But we'll start with number 10, and that's Flight. It's a great Denzel movie. I fucking love this movie. I remember seeing this movie in theaters and being like, wow, this was much better than I thought it was gonna be. And I ended up seeing it twice in theaters. I liked it that much. Number 9 is Argo, Fuck Yourself. This was the Best Picture winner for that year. This was a good movie. I think this was one of the first movies that I saw when I had just gotten out of college and I started working at the movie theater. And this was the first movie, I think, from the opening weekend of my first weekend on the job. Not a bad movie. We've got The Impossible. This movie is fucking gut-wrenching. I fucking love this movie. Just Ewan McGregor's great in it. Naomi Watts is great in it. Young Tom Holland fucking crushing this movie too. If you haven't seen this movie and you're a Tom Holland fan from Spider-Man, definitely check this out. This is probably his best acting, and I think he's like 12 years old in it. And we got Looper. I fucking love this movie. I'm super excited for this movie to be being re-released, I think, in 4K next week or 2 weeks from now. So I can finally get the 4K of this, but this movie, freaking great. Probably one of the last decent Bruce Willis movies. He's kind of fallen off the reservoir, but JGL and Emily Blunt just fucking phenomenal in this movie. We got Dread. This movie's fucking phenomenal. Love this movie. Alex Garland, the writer, he is freaking top notch. Love that guy. We got Ted. Great movie. What more needs to be said? Hilarious. Fucking hilarious. Mark Wahlberg, much better in comedies than he is in serious movies. Where it started all together, The Avengers. This is a classic. I love this one. It's so much fun. Everyone in it bringing the heat, even though the fucking pariah, Josh Whedon, still did really good with this, even if he is a scumbag. Number 3, Django Unchained. This fucking great. One of the better Quentin Tarantino movies. It's just, it's fucking phenomenal. I love Westerns. I love Westerns and I love Quentin Tarantino. So this is a match made in heaven. And to see fucking Leonardo DiCaprio play one of the like most despicable human beings on the planet, that was also really great. Number 2, The Cabin in the Woods. I fucking love this movie. I remember seeing this. This was one of the last movies I saw while I was in college and film school in the city. And I remember seeing this with my roommate who was the director. And we saw this movie and then we went and got food and we talked about it for like 5 hours. It was like so much fun. This movie's such a great subversion in the horror genre. I fucking love it. But number 1 is really I think people are not gonna like. But my favorite movie for 2012, I'm a huge science fiction fan. I love things about time travel and alternate universes and past lives and all that shit. So naturally, Cloud Atlas does it for me. This movie, I fucking love this movie. I'm not gonna lie. I unabashedly love this movie. And I'll continue to love this movie. I think it's great. I think Tom Hanks is fantastic in it. All the actors in it are fantastic. And I love the concept of the movie. It just hits for me. Now, before you get to the top 10 of the 10 movies turning 20, I realized after filming this that I am a moron and I totally forgot to take out 2 movies that are supposed to be in there at number 9 and number 5 that I just completely spaced on because they're in box sets and I'm an idiot. I was about to cough there. But we'll get back to it. Just know that number 9 was supposed to be Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. That's right, I did it. And number 5 was supposed to be Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. So I missed those 2, but they're there. Back to the video. So now we move on to the top 10 movies that are turning 20. So this is 2002. I was, it was 2002. I was 13, 14 years old around those two ages. A lot of good movies that came out this year. It blows my mind, the ones that I got to see in theaters. So I got to see a lot of really good movies in theaters, like way probably earlier than I should have, but it's good times. We'll start it off with Antoine Fisher. It's a great fucking movie. Denzel directed. This a really great fucking drama. I like this movie really a lot. I didn't actually see it until like 2 years ago. I watched it during quarantine, but it's fucking phenomenal. It's just really great. Denzel directed too. We got The Bourne Identity. It's a great movie. So this one in theaters. It's I really like this series. Sometimes I really hate the action, like the quick cutting and the shaky cam and all that shit. Like if there was one thing that this movie I hate for reaping upon the world, it is shaky cam to cover up like action that people can't do. It pisses me off. But that's a small nitpick because that movie is otherwise really great. Super Troopers. I can't believe I saw this movie in theaters. My dad took me, my brother, and my friend to see this movie. And I'm glad he did because this movie is fucking hilarious. It's probably one of my favorite comedies ever made. It's so insanely quotable and just absolutely fucking hilarious. We got Road to Perdition. Fucking great Tom Hanks movie. He's got another hit coming later, but this one is, God, this fucking movie is really good. Young Daniel Craig in it too, early Daniel Craig. Jude Law brings the heat in it also. This is a really great Sam Mendes movie. I fucking like this movie a lot. I love gangster movies, so that movie really struck home for me. We got Minority Report. This is another movie I can't believe I saw in theaters, but I've been fucking obsessed with Steven Spielberg for as long as I can remember. So obviously I dragged my parents to make me go see this movie. This is great. One of my favorite Tom Cruise movies. It's such a fucking incredible science fiction movie. Steven Spielberg is just an absolute maestro behind the camera, and I fucking love this movie for it. Number 3, Gangs of New York. I fucking love this movie. This is one of my favorite Martin Scorsese movies. This is Daniel Day-Lewis, just absolutely fucking incredible in this movie. Leo also brings the heat. Cameron Diaz is good. All the supporting cast is good. This movie is just a fucking epic, and I fucking love it. Number 2, one of my favorite Steven Spielberg movies that's not Indiana Jones or E.T. or an actual series, like a standalone movie, and that's Catch Me If You Can. This movie is just so effortlessly enjoyable. Tom Hanks, Leonardo DiCaprio especially, they just are so effortlessly entertaining in this movie. This is just such a fun movie. Steven Spielberg again directs the shit out of it. I love this movie. But there can only be one, and it is obvious. It's The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Fucking movie is an absolute epic. It's a master class in filmmaking. I fucking love it. The Two Towers is my favorite of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's just so good. The fucking battle Helm's Deep at the end is incredible. There's nothing like it. This movie is just one of a fucking kind. Now we're on to the top 10 that is turning 30 years old. So we are all the way back in the beautiful year of 1992. We're starting it off with Passenger 57. This is a wild fucking action movie, Wesley Snipes. I didn't actually get into the like real deep dive of Wesley Snipes movies until like a few years ago, but goddamn, am I so glad that I finally did, because this movie is just balls to the walls action. I fucking love it. It's just great. It's a great just 90s shoot 'em up action movie. Then we got Basic Instinct, fucking one of the most wild erotica movies around. Fucking Douglas, the king of just like thriller erotica, man. This movie's so good. This is so great. The sequel is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life, but this movie is an absolute fucking dynamo. We got A Few Good Men, fucking classic. Introduced me to Aaron Sorkin, who's one of my fucking favorite writers. He is just phenomenal. The way he writes that rapid fire dialogue is just so interesting and well done. Everybody brings the heat in this one. Jack Nicholson, of course. Tom Cruise in a young early role really shows he can bring the heat. Demi Moore. Everyone in this movie is really freaking good. They're like Kevin Bacon's in it too. Like, there's a bunch of good supporting actors in this movie. It's phenomenal. We got Reservoir Dogs. I love this fucking great cover with Mr. Pink. Mr. Pink was the fucking man, Steve Buscemi. The movie that gave us Quentin Tarantino. This movie is phenomenal. This is a great movie that shows what you can do when you have not a big budget to work with. So like you got to get inventive. And this was a great way to do a crime thriller without actually showing the crime. Just Fucking great movies. You want to talk about rapid fire dialogue? Quentin Tarantino, another fucking great there. We got Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, fucking classic. I am probably one of the few people that likes Home Alone 2 more than Home Alone 1. I just think the New York setting with it and him being lost in New York leads to a lot more fun for me out of it. And also like the way he rigs that, he legit absolutely tries to murder these two in this one also. Like when he's throwing the bricks off the roof, or when Marv touches the electrified sink and he just turns into a skeleton. Like there's just so many hilarious beats in this movie that I fucking love it. One of the best Disney movies around, baby. Aladdin. This movie's a fucking classic. Robin Williams, absolute gem. Fucking Steve from Full House rocking Aladdin. This movie, what can be said about this movie that hasn't been said a million times? It's classic Disney. It's quintessential Disney. All it needs now is a ride in the park, like an actual ride, not the magic carpets of Aladdin. That ride is stupid. I mean like an actual good fucking ride, Disney. Do it. Make a magic carpet ride, a real one, now. We got Unforgiven. This won Best Picture that year. This movie's phenomenal. One of the best Westerns ever made. I fucking love it. I love Westerns. Clint Eastwood Western, of course. Let's do it. This is a really great movie. It's just, so good. Not enough good things can be said about it. Batman Returns. I fucking love this movie. I love weird movies, and the fact that they just put like, let's make a Batman movie around Christmas time, and make it weird as possible. Like whoever was in the pitch meetings and was just like, all right, so like what villains we got? And they're like, all right, man, we got the Penguin. All right, Penguin's cool. Like what's his deal? It's like, all right. So at the end, he's gonna strap rockets to actual penguins and send them into town hall to blow it up. And they were just like, fuck yeah, man, let's do it. Like that's genius. I fucking love it. It cracks me up. This movie is so wild and weird and trippy. I fucking love this movie. It's great. It's a shame that like, because of trying to sell toys and shit, that we got robbed of getting another weird gothic Batman movie from Tim Burton, because that, I feel like Batman Returns he was really settling in, and I would love to have seen what he would have done after that. Number 2, The Last of the Mohicans. Fucking love this movie. Daniel Day-Lewis, fucking incredible. I saw this movie in school for the first time in my 20th century literature class, and I was blown away. The music is so good. Daniel Day-Lewis' performance is so good. Just the way it's shot is amazing. It's a great fucking Michael Mann movie back when Michael Mann was bringing the heat. This movie is incredible. And then my favorite movie turning 30 is, of course, A League of Their Own. Fucking phenomenal movie. Tom Hanks proven he can do dramatic roles. Gina Davis consistently being fucking amazing because she was the shit in the 90s. This movie is just so effortlessly enjoyable. I fucking love it. I love sports movies. And this one is just one of the best of the best. It's so freaking good. And we're down to the last, turning 40, baby. The big 4-0. These are the movies that have come out in the year 1982. We got Tootsie. Tootsie, great fucking comedy. Dustin Hoffman is so great in this movie. Actually, I only saw this like a year or two ago, but it was fucking so good. We got First Blood. This is a great movie. Great Stallone movie. Probably one of the better performances from Stallone too. Like very serious in this movie. The other ones like kind of dip into self-parody action, but this one is actually like a very serious look at like returning from the Vietnam War. We got Gandhi, great fucking movie. Ben Kingsley, we're just rocking this shit. This is a really, really good epic movie. I fucking love it. It's like over 3 hours, but I watched this. There's another one we watched in 20th century literature, and it just blew me away. It's really freaking good. We've got Conan the Barbarian. Fucking, who doesn't like Arnold Schwarzenegger? Like, come on. It's movie. The first one is so fucking good. And just look at him. He's just fucking ripped as hell. It's great. Oh, it's phenomenal. Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 80s and 90s. No one could touch him. We had An Officer and a Gentleman. It's another great movie. There's another movie I didn't watch till like 2 or 3 years ago. I'm so glad I finally did because it's a great fucking drama movie. Richard Gere, phenomenal in this movie. Deborah Winger, good. Everybody in this movie just really brings the heat. It's just a great dramatic movie. We got Blade Runner, the original Blade Runner. This is a fucking great dark movie. I love science fiction, so of course Blade Runner is right up my fucking alley. And it's got Harrison Ford, so what more do you need? Like Harrison Ford, gritty sci-fi film noir? Like fuck yeah, sign me up. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, fucking great movie. Spicoli, absolute king, the legend. This movie is so funny. This and Dazed and Confused are like my favorite hangout movies to just watch when I just want something on in the background. They're just so good, and they're so good of their time movies. It's just great. We got the Thing, this fucking movie. We talk about sci-fi, baby. This is fucking king of sci-fi right here. This movie is so fucking demented. I love it. Kurt Russell, absolutely amazing. Sci-fi horror is some of the best shit out there, and this is just incredible. And we talk about more horror. We got Poltergeist. This movie is fucking crazy. The practical effects work in this movie is unreal, and it helps make this movie so freaking creepy simply because of those practical effects. Like this movie is fucking phenomenal. But there can only be one, and our final movie, Turning 40, is one of my favorite movies. It's in my top 10. It's my number 2 favorite movie of all time, and that's E.T. I fucking love this movie. This movie has been there through my whole entire life. I've grown up with this movie, with the ride at Universal. I fucking love this movie. To me, this movie is perfect. It is just great science fiction. It's heartwarming. It's fun. It's funny. It's sweet. It's everything you want in a movie rolled into one. This movie is fucking incredible, and I will always love it. And those are our lists. Fucking great anniversaries this year. You know, a lot of good movies hitting those good digits. Some of my favorite movies of all time in there. Like, I think there was like 2 or 3 from 2002, 2 or 3 from 1992, and maybe like 3 or 4 from 1982. Like, I love older movies, so of course those ones are going to show up in there, more prevalent than newer movies. I think there was really only like 1 or 2 that I would put in my top 100 from 2012. But it's a great year. Can't wait to see next year what's turning 10 and 20 and 30 and 40 and whatever. But that's next year's problem. For now, we are just sticking with these bad boys. If you haven't seen any of these movies, I recommend watching any and all of them. They're all fucking great. So get out there, do some watching. But until next time, you have been you, I have been me. These have been movies. Now go out and watch some shit, all right? Get the fuck out of here and go watch something. Be gone. Be gone.